All right, I decided to bring this upstairs. Samara is downstairs playing video games and she's got a lot of vocal stim. She's very loud. You'll probably still hear her down there. But, and I'll just go through each thing one at a time. As I said before, Timberdoodle is known for being kinesthetic. I did try and leave out things that, like the spelling and reading, that were real just workbook based. I actually thought I had ordered the reading, but it's not here, so I don't know if something got mixed up in the translation or what, but because I thought I could use just the reading books out of that and not the workbooks. But this is what we have. So I have the scrunch map. I already have the United States scrunch map. This is the world scrunch map. And we honestly haven't used the United States scrunch map at all. But I thought maybe as she gets older, or maybe when we have more time to travel, that would be a good one to take in the car with us and point things out. Now, we're not going to do any world traveling, and I actually have two giant maps of both the US and the world that go on the wall. But like I said, these are kind of indestructible. You don't have to worry about them wrinkling it up and ruining it, ripping it. Now, Samara really loves books, so books were important to me. This one, I believe, was from the younger I think this was from the kindergarten curriculum, but I included this in her first grade. It gives you an idea of a timeline in history. So it's one you can write in. Fill in the blanks below to record some of your history. When were you born? Where were you born? What are your parents' names? Where have you gone on vacation? Where have you gone to celebrate Christmas? So I don't know. I could do this with Samara. I don't really know how much of it she would understand. History is what happened when, is always shaped by where it happened. She will probably have to grow into this as well, and there's lots of words in it, more than I anticipated. So this is one of the things about buying any curriculum. You know, you get it and then you're like, oh, this might not work, especially when you have a special needs child. But I may be able to take pieces or ideas from this too and use them outside of this context. It might give me the words to try and explain a timeline. Okay, happy, sad, feeling, glad. Now I got this one because it focused on emotions. And it's a draw and discover book, so they can write in it. Sad. Donkey is sad because his ice cream has fallen on the floor. Draw Donkey a new ice cream to make him happy again. This we can probably use. I got the spectrum test practice, which we won't actually use. But it gives me an idea of where kids are at grade 1. Not that it really matters, but it was one of those things I had to have in the curriculum for it to be a curriculum. Even though it's a custom kit, you still have to stay within certain guidelines in order for it to be considered a complete curriculum. So that was one of the things I won't be using much. Doodle, draw, and draw everything. She actually already has a couple of these from previous kits that she hasn't used. And this will also probably go in the closet for a while, but eventually she'll get there. What's new, what's missing, what's different? She will love this because she likes the seek and find kind of books. So I think she will like this. Now with most any books, what I do is I just put them in the closet, what I call my homeschool closet. And the homeschool closet is 3 shelves, is just books. And then in her room she also has a whole shelf full of books. And so she can just go in there and find what is interesting to her. Now, in order to kind of plant some seeds, sometimes I will pull out a book and just kind of introduce it to her. If she's interested, she's interested. If not, then we don't read it. Forcing somebody to do something is not going to teach them anything. They're not going to learn. What do grown-ups do all day? I have been wanting to kind of plant some seeds about careers, because when I was in kindergarten, I had a teacher that did that for me, and it really helped shape my future and helped me start thinking about what I wanted to do for a living. And even though she's special needs and she's got some bigger roadblocks, I think that makes it even more important to start thinking about those things now. Every day, lots of grown-ups all around us head out the door, and we don't see them again until later that evening. But what do they do all day? And so it goes through different careers. Usborne Around the World Mazes. Now, Usborne is a company that I really love. All their stuff is awesome. She doesn't particularly like mazes, but I liked that this had a lot of visual stimulus. It kind of falls into that seek and find kind of look. Venice visit. Seth wants a souvenir to take home from his visit to Venice. Guide him through the crowds in St. Mark's Square so he can select a Venetian mask from the stall. That's pretty complex to try and see if I could find the maze in that. That probably won't happen, but we can still use this. Hi, Ralph. This is our service dog, Ralph. Ralph, place, place, place. But I can still use this to point things out. We can talk about what's happening. Cool way to do mazes and incorporate some geography. This is how we do it. One day in the lives of 7 kids from around the world. This is who I live with in Peru, India, Iran, Japan, Italy, Russia. Look, I'm a scientist. Which reminds me, there was one thing that was on back order from this kit. It was a Boom science kit, so I can't show you that, unfortunately. So these are all science experiments. And as you can see, they have nice, big, clear pictures. Not a ton of words, which is good. This might seem a little busy depending on your kiddo, if they have trouble kind of sorting out the information visually. But I think we will be okay with that. Oh my gosh, this is the world. This one I wasn't sure about, so let's take a look. One of the tallest buildings in the world, the Empire State Building. And then it gives the facts: 1,472 feet high, 102 floors, 74 passenger elevators, and the most spectacular views from the top. Just a little bit of information, beautiful illustrations. Yeah, we will be using this one. This might be a book though that she probably won't grab this herself. But this is one I can bring out, especially if something comes up. You know how sometimes just things come up and you're like, Peru, they're in Peru, and then you go look stuff up. Okay. Maybe that doesn't happen to you. Word fun. I'm not sure about this one either. If you were a noun, a verb, an adjective, an adverb, a pronoun, a conjunction, an interjection, a preposition. This is good, because I've been wondering about grammar. I mean, I was never good at grammar myself, and I honestly don't use it a whole lot as an adult with what I do. But I've been wondering how I'm gonna do that other than her apps. She's learned a lot through her apps too. But this is awesome because she loves books and it's very simple, not a lot of words. She could read this herself because she is reading already, which she's done on her own, by the way. I did not teach her to read. If you were a noun, you would be easy to spot. You would be a person, a place, or a thing. You could be an astronaut preparing to fly into space in a spaceship. Okay, so now more into the activities portion. Rory's story cubes. This I think will be fun to do together. We have already done some storyboards just on the dry erase board to try and give her an idea of how to build a story. And each cube has a picture on it. And so you can just shake these up and see what lands and then build a story based on the items that you have on the cubes. Snow White. Now I've had these in the past. I had Little Red Riding Hood and Three Little Pigs I had. And she mainly just likes to play with the characters. She doesn't really like to do the logic game itself. But it's something that I think eventually she will be able to do. But right now she can just enjoy the pieces and get familiar with it. And then later I can maybe show her how to do the logic part when she's more focused. I wish this kit came with some scissors, because it doesn't matter how many pairs of scissors I buy, I can never find a pair of scissors. Does anybody else have that problem? It's like pens. You just buy them and they disappear. So here's the little house. I think she'll love just the fact that I think she'll like just the fact that it's a little house. It's adorable. She loves those little teeny tiny plastic doll houses. She has so all the little windows open so that you can see your gnomes inside. So there's Starter, Junior, Expert, and Master. So here's an example of Starter. Challenge, place the characters inside of the house as shown in the challenge. Determine the correct position of all the characters in the house based on the clues provided in the challenge. All characters must be placed inside the house. Twin dwarves, blue and red, always occupy two places adjacent to each other. For that reason, they can never be placed in front of the door. There is only one solution, which can be found on the back side of each challenge in the booklet. And then it also comes with the book that tells the story that goes with the game. Then we have Coloring with Clay. Now I have not seen this before. 12 clay colors, 4 sturdy board designs, silicone clay tool, 3 plastic clay tools, wooden roller, clay playmat, and 4 chipboard display easels and instructions. So it looks like you're going to manipulate the clay on these images here. If you have kids that, number one, love clay, good fine motor, and just a good thing for you to be able to experience together. And it does have some of the clay tools that a lot of kids aren't used to using, so it might be kind of something new. Robotis Pets. So another building thing, think Legos, right? Now this was something that she actually looked at in the catalog, and she seemed interested in it. So once again, think Legos. They're building blocks. Smart Cookies. This is a math game. To solve each puzzle, the player uses visual logic clues to deduce where to place 9 cookies on the tray. As players progress through the puzzles, they develop and strengthen their reasoning and verbal expression skills, a great calorie-free treat for the mind. Now once again, I don't know, this is a logic game. It's not quite what I thought it was, so I don't know how this is going to go, but if anything, she can play with the cookies, right? I thought for some reason it was going to be a math-related game. These are pretty heavy duty. So here's your book. kind of a flimsy book, by the way. You're gonna have to be careful with it. If you have little ones, these might get ripped out. Or if you just have kids like mine that aren't little and they just tend to be rough on stuff. Here's your game board. This one I've had before. We had the one with the elephants on the front. These are just a really clear liquid paint. They are easy to spill, so you might have to be a little careful with that if you have kids that tend to be a little messy. But it was really fun and easy to paint. And our last thing, Moby Kids. 38 number tiles, 48 operation tiles, heaps of fun. So she has been teaching herself addition. I've helped a little bit, but she's learning a lot from her apps. And you could even use these if you had other manipulatives and you just needed the symbols. This would be great. So if you had like animals or something that they prefer over numbers, you're not really going to use numbers yet, you can still introduce them to these symbols using your other manipulatives. All right, so that's everything I have for you today. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. I'll gladly answer those. And the link for Timberdoodle is in the description. And feel free to give them a call. They're very nice, very easy to work with. I emailed the poor guy like a billion times until I figured out exactly what I wanted that would still fit within their complete curriculum guidelines. And yeah, just give them a call if you need a custom curriculum for your special needs kid. So that's all I have for you today, and I will see you next time. Keep up the great guiding.